Hey guys, Raj here. I hope you're well. I am back again with, believe it or not, another fragrance review. Yep. So this is one of my favorite fragrances, just like of all time. Definitely one of my favorites in my collection. This is from the house of Parfums de Marly, and it is called Herod. It's probably the one that's spoken about. I think actually the one that's spoken about the most on YouTube. But there are quite a few other fragrances out there, in this brand, which are definitely worth checking out as well. I've seen a few mentions here and there, but I think Herod is probably the one that gets the most talk. So yeah, I'm gonna go into like price and notes, performance, and all that kind of stuff, and then the actual description, as always. So first of all, let's start with. I'll go with the presentation first of all. I won't go into too much detail, but this is the box right here. So Parfums de Marly Herod, kind of like a pinstripe box. You know, it's a box at the end of the day. And this is the bottle. Very sturdy, very heavy. Nice amount of detail. You've got two horses here, and it's pretty brutish in terms of its design, but it's pretty cool. I like it. Okay, so prices now in euros on the German website auslieberzumduft.de or .de, I think, is 174 euros for 125 ml, which is definitely better than the US price. So I think you guys in the States are getting a bit of a raw deal here, because on the Lucky Scent website this is going for $275, which is quite a lot more actually, I think. So it's definitely, depending on where you buy it from, I mean, it's not a cheap fragrance, that's for sure. Notes, in the top notes there is cinnamon and bay laurel. I think that's like bay leaf, I'm not 100% sure. In the heart notes there's osmanthus, tobacco leaves, frankincense and labdanum. And in the base notes, there is vanilla, cedarwood, vetiver, patchouli, Nagarmotha, and musk. So this is, like, for me, a perfect cold weather fragrance. Cold, I mean really cold. Like, I'm not talking about, oh, it's a little bit chilly today. I'm talking like it's freezing. And Parfums de Marly's Herod works really well in those types of occasions. It works somehow really well when you're outside and you're wearing this, and then as you go inside and your body just temperature goes up a little bit, it brings out the true essence of this fragrance even more. I think it's a fragrance that is probably, I think for some people, because of the price, more of a special occasion fragrance. I sometimes wear it to work, you know, I just wear whatever nowadays, to be honest, but works also really well in a more formal environment. You know, if you're wearing like a suit, or you're dressed up, you're going to a nice restaurant, maybe it's a family occasion, maybe it's an important sort of function or whatever's going on. This one is great for that. A little bit more daring, you know, if you're going to be in a crowd which you don't want to be like stinking out the whole room, maybe put this away and go for something else. But if you're around people who you know you're comfortable with, maybe they like this fragrance on you, yeah, this would be perfect. It's a compliment-getting fragrance, one of my most complimented fragrances in my collection, along with Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille, coincidentally, and I will touch on that a little bit later. So yeah, performance is quite good. It's not like the most it's not a 24-hour fragrance, but I definitely get double digits. So 10 hours is like a standard with this fragrance. It becomes a little bit quiet towards the end of this fragrance, but I think it's actually quite noticeable. I get really good performance, to be honest. I have no complaints with this scent. Going into the opening, it's just wonderful. Like I really love this from start to finish, and I sprayed on a little bit a while ago. And what I think you have to like this type of style to really like this fragrance. It's got this like raw honey. It's got a little bit of this tobacco, kind of like a dried out tobacco, with a touch of moisture in there. It does kind of remind me of a honey infused cigar. So there are, I don't know if you guys know, but I do smoke cigars, and I do have a cigar related channel, and I don't smoke flavored cigars, but I have tried a couple before. Like some of my friends have smoked some, and the aroma that you get off that cigar from the smoke, like the taste on your lips. I know that sounds weird, but it's kind of like what you're smelling in this fragrance. It's very kind of realistic in some ways if you mix those two ingredients together. It is kind of like this, kind of like an exotic accord in there as well, with some of the florals pushing through. But it's really about this kind of honey and tobacco intermingling. Very nice combination, nothing over the top. The ingredients really stand out, and you know that you're getting something quite different. I think also what you get in this fragrance is a kind of, it's kind of like a smoky, woody vanilla accord as well, which is quite interesting. I really like that. I think that smokiness coming from maybe like an incense or like a smoky wood mixed in with the sweetness from the honey, maybe a little bit of boozy rum in there, a touch. Sometimes I picked up on that, but not too much. Maybe I was imagining it, I don't know. But there's tobacco also in there, and it's just the perfect mix. It really works so well. I kind of get this almost Christmas cake, you know, rum and raisin kind of accord. Like if you imagine like an ice cream doused in like a rum. It's just, I mean, I love it. It's very multi-layered, and I think the ingredients are just very nice, like really well done. It's a fragrance that stands out for me. It's one of those where, yeah, I mean, if smelling it out the cap, it's actually quite fresh. There's almost like a burnt orange kind of accord in here, like a burnt orange peel. If you imagine like an orange peel that has been put on top of a cocktail, and that, you know how they light it in cocktails, and that goes up in flames, and you get that kind of burning zestiness. That's quite interesting, actually. But yeah, this is one of those fragrances that, when I think about how long I've been into fragrances and this whole crazy hobby that a lot of us are into, I think about the fragrances that I used to own, the ones that I don't like, samples that I had, bottles that I had that I sold, and my current collection. It's kind of like led me to this point. Like if I had not been into fragrances, I would have never have heard about this. I would have never have seen it. I probably, maybe even if I had seen it, I probably would have been off put by the price. But it's one of those where I really love it, and I wear it a lot because I love it, and I can't save it for this special occasion that comes up once every few months. I like to wear it a lot in the winter time, or yeah, autumn winter I think is kind of best. And it kind of suits. It's like I love Tobacco Vanille, Eau de Beau from L'Occitane, also that type of fragrance. I do like that style, so this works perfectly. So Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford, another one of my favorite fragrances. One that, you know, again is one of my most complimented fragrances. So I don't know if like honey and tobacco is like this mix that people seem to love. But, so that's compliments. But what about comparisons between the two fragrances? I've seen them mentioned, like there is like, you know, this is like a different version. It's definitely an alternative. But what I will say is they're both cut from the same cloth, but they are very different fragrances in their entirety, I think. I think this has, this is not as bold and as punchy, and Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille is more sweeter, whereas this has a little bit more of that smokier, kind of like woodiness in there as well, with these exotic florals just in the background, whereas Tom Ford is like sweet vanilla, ultra sweet tobacco, and I love that. I just think this one has a few more layers to it and adds a little bit more complexity. Both are great, but sometimes I prefer this, actually. Sometimes I do prefer this. Herod is a superb fragrance, and it gets a rating of 10 out of 10. There aren't many fragrances on my channel that I review. Generally, actually, just fragrances out there. There aren't that many that are going to get a perfect score from me. Not because I'm like some harsh like critic or anything like that. Because when I think about it, when something like ticks all the boxes, how often does a fragrance like tick every single box? How often do you wear a fragrance and then maybe you get bored of it after a while, or you think, I'm going to put that away. I love to wear this, and I love to wear it a lot, and I look forward to those colder weather months when I can wear it. I can't say anything bad about this. I love all the notes. I love the development of this fragrance. I love how long it lasts on my skin. I like the fact that other people around me like it, so I, feel a little bit more comfortable wearing it. I mean, I wear fragrances for myself, but there has to be some element of consideration for others around you. So, look, I know it's expensive, but sometimes you get what you pay for, and this is definitely a superb fragrance, and one that is not a fragrance that is going to come into my collection and then be sold and I might buy it later. It's like a permanent fixture, right? There aren't many other fragrances like that in my collection that are permanently there. Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille is another one of those. So I have to give it a perfect rating. So there you go, guys. That's my thoughts on this fragrance. I would love to hear what you guys have to say. Even if you don't think it's perfect, even if you don't like it at all, I'm very open to hearing everyone's opinions. It doesn't really matter to me whether you agree or disagree with me. What about the alternatives? Do you think they are very close to other alternatives people have mentioned, or is this quite unique? Whatever you have to say, say it. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care.